The bus was crowded that morning, the kind of noise and chatter that drowns out even your own thoughts. But then, a silence fell, an uneasy one. A new girl, small and shy, had stepped onto the bus. Her clothes weren't fancy, her backpack was a little worn, and her eyes carried that nervous look of someone stepping into a place where they didn't yet belong. At first, no one paid much attention, but then two boys at the back smirked at each other, whispering like hyenas before circling their prey. They started with words, mocking her shoes, her quietness, even the way she held her bag. When she tried to ignore them and sit down, one of the boys grabbed her backpack and yanked it away, spilling her notebooks across the aisle. The laughter rang out, sharp and cruel, and the girl froze, her eyes watering as she bent to pick up her things. The bus driver was too busy watching the road, and the other kids looked away, afraid to get involved. But there was one man sitting quietly near the middle, his little daughter resting her head on his arm. He wasn't just any man. He was a single dad, someone who had known enough pain in life to recognize it instantly in others. His name was Daniel, and when he saw the girl's trembling hands, his chest tightened with the memory of how his own daughter had once been treated after her mother left them. He knew exactly what fear looked like, and he couldn't sit still. Daniel stood, towering over the boys with a calm but firm presence. He didn't shout, didn't raise his fists. He simply walked over, picked up the girl's notebook, and handed it back to her gently. Then he turned to the boys, his voice steady, deep enough to cut through their smug laughter. "That's enough. You don't get to treat her that way." His words weren't loud, but they carried a weight that made the boys shift uncomfortably. One of them tried to push back, mumbling, "We're just joking." But Daniel's eyes didn't waver. A joke doesn't make someone cry. A joke doesn't make someone feel small. You think you're strong, but real strength isn't about tearing others down, it's about lifting them up. The bus was so quiet you could hear the engine hum. Even the driver glanced up in the mirror, catching the shift in atmosphere. Daniel then looked at the girl, offering her a reassuring smile. "You don't have to be afraid. You're not alone." His daughter, barely 8 years old, sat up and tugged at the girl's sleeve. "You can sit with us," she said softly, patting the empty seat beside her. The new girl hesitated, then slid into the spot, her cheeks still wet but her heart slowly steadying. What happened next surprised everyone. The boys didn't argue. They slumped back in their seats, suddenly unsure, their confidence stripped away by the kind of authority that comes not from fists, but from truth. And the rest of the bus noticed. Some of the kids who had stayed silent before started whispering things like, "That was wrong," and, "She's really nice." The tide shifted, not with violence, but with courage. By the time the bus reached school, the girl wasn't hiding anymore. She walked off with Daniel's daughter at her side, and for the first time that day, she wasn't invisible. She wasn't a target. She had a friend, and someone who had stood up for her when no one else did. That moment didn't just change her day. It changed the boys too. Later, one of them sheepishly apologized, not because they were forced to, but because Daniel's words stuck with them. They realized they had a choice, to be bullies, or to be better. And sometimes all it takes is one person's example to flip that switch inside. Friends, if you're watching this, maybe you've been that girl, scared, new, unsure of where you belong. Or maybe you've been the one who stayed quiet, wishing you could have spoken up. Let this story remind you, your voice matters. Your presence matters. Standing up, even in small ways, can change everything for someone else. So if this story touched your heart, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs hope today. Because sometimes, a single act of courage can echo far beyond what we see, just like Daniel's presence on that bus changed everything. And maybe, you're the one who can change everything for someone tomorrow.